thing.
We realized that we should start Instagram first so we can get the hang of it.
Right.
Hey, Dave.
What's up, Chan?
Welcome to the broadcast. So we are officially live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and all the things. It's pretty exciting that we actually got everything to work. And if you guys are listening to this, we actually realized that we should start the Instagram first so we can fumble with it and get the sound right and then start everything else.
That's right. So if you guys need help figuring out how to go live on every single channel the world's ever seen, give us a shout.
Yeah, all at the same time. We can literally simulcast to everything, which is kind of cool.
That's right. We are special.
Yeah, we don't mess around. Like on a scale of 1 to special, we are super special or totes special. Our special is on fleek.
Super special. That's right.
Like the little children say. So it's good to be here. Yesterday turns out we had like a fiber optic cable that blew up in the community. And so it shut down the entire internet and we had nothing. I couldn't do anything all day. I had to go to my office in the gym to do all my work in order to accomplish anything. Then I came home and I was like, I should have stayed at the gym because I can't do anything. And then I just went to sleep. It was the first time I've gone to sleep at like 10 o'clock at night ever. Even my phone didn't work.
That's good for you. That's good for you.
That was crazy.
So maybe that's what we have to do. We have to blow up your internet and give you a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I guess so. Because then I was just like, well, I'm going to bed. I had nothing to do with my life.
That's right. I actually went to bed early last night too.
Oh, it's exciting.
I probably logged 12 hours of sleep for the first time in God knows how long.
That's huge.
I feel like $1 million. You should feel me.
I'll feel you.
Pretty amazing.
Hold on.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh, I can't get to you. So today's topic is pretty cool. We're going to talk about the idea that we hear this a lot with gyms, and we hear this a lot with basically everybody we talk to. They're saying, well, business isn't very good. We've gotten really slow. We're not getting the leads we used to get, and we're not really sure why. And what we find that the problem is a lot of these industries, especially gyms that we talk to, are in a seemingly commodity-based industry, and they have to produce differentiation in order to produce leads and get people excited. And in addition to that, we see that across the brand, there's not a unique experience. It's not from the first contact in social media all the way till when they walk in the door and they've been a member for 3 years. There's no unified experience and unified culture to get people aware and excited about that brand and get them away from the idea that it's a commodity or that it's just another fitness program or gym. And if we're talking about gyms, and we need to get them into the idea that, well, it's good to take what other people are doing and look at it as examples. We don't necessarily want to take that and use it as our own because it's not your culture. It's not your personality. It's not your brand. And ultimately, the brand is going to be built around the founder and what the founder feels, thinks, and wants the vision of the brand to be. And if you can showcase that, that's going to be the most powerful thing you can give to the consumers.
Yeah. And you already said it. It's everybody wants leads. And so we see it in the Facebook advertising realm now. There's companies, that's what they specialize in. And the first time it works and the second time's kind of okay. And by the third time, we're getting told it was a big waste of money and I'll never do that again. It was just the wrong approach. It wasn't even that the leads was the wrong way to do it. That's the final piece in an overall marketing strategy to then drive people into you with a call to action. And if you didn't lay out the foundation, tie your entire operation into an overall marketing strategy, they're low quality leads. You're paying a lot of money. You're not getting what you think you need to. And then you need to invest in heavy in sales and dumping more money into marketing. You're either going to spend your money up front, building a solid foundation and having a very steady message and a great brand, or you have to probably quadruple it or more on the back end and go after traditional
Yeah,
advertising.
and I see a huge disconnect in the fact that we don't, as brands, especially in the small business realm, we don't build a following around that brand. And when we don't build a following, we don't build anybody attached to that brand. And then if there's nobody attached to the brand, there's never going to be a flow of people who want to work with you because of you. You're just going to have to put out, like you're saying, put out these challenges and these shotgun marketing approaches to hopefully pull people in and keep them. And that's why things like Groupon were invented, because Groupon's not a horrible thing, but gyms are using it in a way that is bad, because we don't want to use that as a last ditch effort where we heavily discount our products and our programs, because it's going to put us into a place to where we depend on it. And we don't want to depend on that. We can use challenges and stuff like that as tools, but we don't want that to be our main marketing channel. And so what you need to do is you need to look at your whole system and outline what you're doing. What does it look like when someone interacts with me for the first time on social media and our content? What does it look like when someone goes from social to our Facebook page? Is it the same, which is still social, but it's going to be your actual little homepage, basically? What does it look like when they go from there to our website? Is it still organized in the same way that your Facebook and your personality that you've been showcasing is? Then what happens when they call you? Is it still the same experience? Are they going to be like, man, it's exactly like I watched them on social. They're out of control, or they're serious, or they're motivating, or whatever. Then when they walk in, is it still the same experience? Are they still like, okay, these are the same people I've been watching. I really fit in here. This is home. And then when they've been members forever, are you still doing the same things? And so if you have that channel focus across the board, and you have the whole brand mapped out and analyzed and showcasing who you are, you're going to get people who really care about what you do. And that's how you build that culture of raving fans. And that's what most businesses are missing. They don't have that culture of raving fans and people excited just to see them on the internet.
Yeah, they don't have it because they don't have the time probably to put into it. They don't know where to start. And then they just confuse. There's so many things that you can do that they'll heavily invest in one, but they'll neglect 10 more. The results aren't quite where they need it, or maybe it worked for a small period of time, then it stopped working. And so when that happens, it's not the thing that, what you were doing probably worked fine. It's just, you just can't do only that. You have to build the base. So we see it a lot where people they don't have the time to do it, so they just don't do it. And then that's their excuse for why they're failing, and then they want a fast solution. People will call us and say, yep, I'll pay you guys whatever, $5,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month. What's my return on investment going to be? Right? In 30 days, will I make my money back? Right? But then you look at what they've been doing, and it's like, well, you're in a commodity market. You have no brand differentiator. There's no culture differentiator, except you say you're the best. I'm just better than them. But there's no way to actually showcase that to an audience. And then people want the results, right? They want to know why they're not getting leads, even when they're paying for them. And it really comes down to look at your actual product. Like, look at you, look at your product. How are you telling a story? How are you different than everybody else? What's going to attract people to you? And then that's marketing, right? That's the future of marketing, is building a story and a brand and a marketing strategy around your unique value proposition.
Yeah, and I think you need to get in the mindset as well of, once this is all organized, you have to pay attention to this and evolve as the market evolves. And so if you have programs where people are flooding into it at the beginning and you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden you're not closing a single person, and this is consistent across 3 months or so, you need to reevaluate that program and say, okay, is our price point wrong? Is the way we're portraying it wrong? Is the way we're selling it wrong? What's going on with our package, and how can we fix it and introduce new things that people are going to be more likely to jump on board with and stay consistent with, and build up your ability to close your leads and a lot of that. And generally, when you do have that brand experience, the brand experience helps bring your higher value offers to people, and they're more excited to actually sign up for them. And so that's the first thing you should do. You need to organize your whole brand experience and what it looks like from beginning to end. And then you need to look at your process. So is my sales process okay? Are people excited when they walk in? What's our percentage of people we're actually closing? What's our percentage of people we're actually losing? And if those things dip outside of a normal comfortable zone, then we need to reevaluate it and look at, okay, what's going on? How do we fix this? How do we introduce a new program or a new price point or something new in order to make sure that we're consistently across the board maintaining these high closing percentages and high retention percentages and a lot of those things? Because it comes down to how many people can you get excited about you, then how many people can you get in your door, and then how many people can you keep, which is probably your most important metric. It needs to get away from just the how many leads can I get right now and how much does it cost into we have to say, well, okay, how many people are you retaining right now? What does your percentage look like? What does your brand look like? What does everything look like across the board? What is the client experience? And more often than not, businesses can't answer those questions. And so we have to dive deep into it and actually answer it for them and build it out for them.
Yeah, and I think something to add to that is, so first of all, I concur. Very, very good. So if you're listening and you heard that and you're like, yep, I agree, go back a couple minutes and start taking notes, because that was a pretty good laying down of the law. Something that I could add to that, though, is just the overall industry. So something that, I not that it's been, I have friends that have been in much longer than me, but, we've been full time in a certain industry, the gymming industry, for 13 years. And we've seen the industry change. And so something that I think is important is you might, have what you think you do and how you're going to change the world. And this is what people need, and you're convinced this is what they need. And ultimately what people need is they need to see results and have fun, and especially in the fitness business. So how you deliver that can be different. And I've seen the industry change dramatically. So there's something that, at one point in my career, it was all personal training. And I had plenty of leads and I had a waiting list. And, I was very successful. Then the industry changed. And I recognized the change, and I was someone that was out in front of the change, right? Where it was, we got involved in CrossFit early on before there was affiliates and everything, and started down that direction, and we kind of created a new, the change in the industry. And, we did trying different things. You're trying to ultimately get people results, have them stay, and have them have fun, which led to different types of ways people came in and the way the program was delivered and all that. And we've seen that evolve over the last 10 years. And now we've actually seen it again. So something that you really need to pay attention to is, has your market changed, which is so important. 13 years ago, spin classes, spin studios, and kickboxing classes and kickboxing studios, right? It was like, that was it. I actually used to teach a kickboxing class. So then, we get into, CrossFit all of a sudden took off. Well, you look at all the Google Analytics, you look at how the gyms are performing, how leads look and all that. Not that it's still not this great way to deliver fitness. The market has changed. And so if you don't recognize that the market's changed and you just keep on plowing ahead doing what you're doing, you might not make it. Some will, some won't. But understanding that the people that are out there that you're marketing to have other options, right? And they're looking to get results and have fun. And so if you're not able to provide that, or you need to adjust how you're doing things, I know we've had to adjust. At one point we did things one way, we kept trying to improve on it. We got to a point where it was like the best possible way to bring people into the gym, worked for a while, then it stopped working, right? And so we had to make an adjustment again. And it wasn't really based on what we were delivering for service. It was really based on the market. The market shifted, and people have too many choices. And so you have to meet them somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's a huge piece to being able to identify what's going on. Because when you start something new, like we've done in the past, eventually everybody's going to copy what you do, and it's not going to be new anymore. And so you already have to be paying attention to the market and ahead of the game with even newer things that they're going to copy down the road. And so you always have to be at the top, and you're the one who's paying attention to trends and what's going on and how you adjust and modify. And you don't have to modify, like you're saying, the core philosophy of what you do. You just have to modify the way you package it. So that way it doesn't become old, or it doesn't become something that people are just used to seeing. It's the same core philosophy, the same ideas of what you're doing, just packaged in different ways to make sure that people are always excited about what you're doing. And we've done the same kinds of things, starting off in like the one-on-one programs and having a lot of PT focus. And then you realize at some point you have to introduce people in different ways. So you build out new programs. You build out like a hybrid fundamentals program where there's a series of PTs and then a series of group classes they go into. And so you always want to have those abilities and those capabilities to notice and react to what's going on and make sure that you're always following through with that long-term plan to success. And if you're on that pathway and you know where you want to get, and you're always adapting and modifying and evolving, you're always going to be ahead of the game. And then people are always going to be copying what you're doing, but you're always going to be getting that flow of leads because you're always going to be this thing that people want to experience because your brand something that people always see as new and inventive. And then you're going to be the king in your industry, no matter what trend is happening, no matter if cardio kickboxing comes back or cycling or underwater basket weaving, whatever the next big trend is, you're always going to be ahead of the game.
I would crush. I
was the underwater basket weaving state champion. I don't know if you know this. I'm kind of a big deal in the industry. Yep. That's true.
That's why we're together.
Just the underwater basket weaving.
Yeah. So that's something where when people look at leads, they look at just to kind of play off what you said there. Like we're really familiar with the gym business probably because of all the years we were in it. So people think that, when you say like giving them other options, that they need to have a whole nother program that's totally different than what they have. And they call it, whatever, CrossFit Light, or they in boot camps and whatever. Understand that like whatever you do, whatever your core value is and your core competency is in the business, build everything around that, layer that. It has to all fit together and all be one big unit. Maybe there's different entry points to it or different levels to it, but don't create things that are totally separate where it's like, well, our main thing is like this type of a program, but then we're going to run a boot camp as a lead gen. And then what we're going to do is somewhere in between, we're going to try to tie them together and convince them to go over to this program. There's no unity there. It's not going to work long term. You have two different things going on. You need two different everything if you're going to do that, right? You want to make sure that it all ties together so that it's a clear progression that people understand on day one. They actually see it and understand it from a consumer standpoint so that they can actually progress through your system that you've created. And that's a mistake I think everybody makes is they all want to be different, but they all have the same crappy system going on. And they've not really controlled it themselves and set it up. How does it work for them? It needs to be tweaked for them.
Yeah, it really needs to be individualized. And if you really want to look at like where the trend is, everything right now is what can people buy for $10 and then buy more later on down the road when they trust you. And if you watch how all like the online companies are doing it, it's, hey, buy this $19 product right now. And then 2 days later, you get an email for their $5,000 product. And it's just getting people to opt in at a lower rate and then come on later down the road. But as a local business, you don't necessarily have all these options because people, they might not be interested in buying online. You might not have the experience or the capabilities to build something like that. So then you take your base fundamental programs and you turn them into something that's always going to be relevant in the industry. And like you're saying, you don't have to have like yoga and Pilates and cycling and 825 different programs in your facility because then you've splintered yourself into things you don't care about. You just need to take your main passion, your core product, and turn that into basically phases. So if you have fundamentals, if you have an on-ramp, whatever that is, you always need to be evolving and adapting that to lead into your group classes. And maybe your group classes lead to your specialty programs or nutrition programs or whatever else you have down the road. And these are things that you can use also on the front end. So you can have a nutrition program on the front end to bring people in, or it can be part of your on-ramp or your fundamentals. And so you always want to be adapting and modifying and adjusting to make sure that you're giving the most amount of value up front to get people to want to opt in. And they already trust your brand. They love what you're doing. They've been following you. And now they want to go into these programs and you create these experiences around that.
Right. And then your messaging has to be consistent. This is where the leads come from is if you spend the time, right, and this is what no one does, spend the time building a foundation of your brand, your vision, your culture, getting that message and the story out to the world overnight, and put the work in, do that, have a solid base. Then when you want to bring people in for leads into certain things that you're doing, which is probably a different show, but ultimately, bring a friend day to a community is king, right? If you're not doing some sort of bring a friend day, and I'm not talking throw them into a class or right into a high-end service, but the concept is why early, say in the gym business, early on people got such great success, right? That's why, right? And in your communities, why did it work for a while and then stop working? It's because of that. It's because that's how communities grow. So in order to actually harness that energy again, you need to put the time in on your relationship stuff, on the branding, on the culture, on getting that story out to the world. Then your leads will pick up, right? They have to. That's the way to do it. If you don't put the time in, you get this big gap between the work that needs to happen and spending money on leads coming in.
Yeah, and you can do this like with a fundamental concept, and we do this a lot with people, of utilizing the people you have already inside your facility to facilitate your marketing. And this comes down to, you produce all this content on the outward zone. And what happens is these people see it, they share it because they want to be part of your story, and they're already part and they're excited about it. So they're sharing all your content and their friends are seeing it. Then you start doing events. And so it's like you're saying, it's not throwing people in the classes. It's, hey, we're celebrating Pizza Friday this week. Bring all your friends and we'll buy you a free slice or something. And then your members invite all their friends, and then their friends come to maybe your Halloween parties and a lot of the other stuff you do. And it's not, I think people get confused. It's not a lead generation exercise to collect their info at the party. It's a trust building exercise to get them excited about what you do and to get them following what you do for a long period of time. So when they are ready, they tell their friend, hey, I think I'm finally ready to do this. And I have to go to your gym because I pretty much know everybody. I'm really comfortable. How do I get started? And then you get that member coming in. So you should create these raving fans amongst your own clients and then outside of your clients with their friends. And so that way you always have this community that builds up, and this community that basically explodes from the inside. So that way you have people paying attention all over the place, and your basis of doing this was from inside your own community.
Yeah, so I think I know we're coming up on what we usually use as a limit for live here, but here's the big fail when you're looking for leads. And this is why people aren't getting the leads that they want. And when they get them, they can't close them right, is we're in the relationship business. And it's why Chin and I do the relationship marketing. And it is 100% not about getting leads, right? If you have a lead that you're trying to close, you're not doing the thing that you think you're doing. Right? You're trying to build relationships and change lives, right? And have people love what you do and be a part of it and all that. Well, don't treat them like a lead.
Yeah.
That's the first part, right? Don't go out and say, like, I got to close business. So I'm going to go find this person and I'm going to do my best. I'm doing sales training and I'm going to close them and they're going to be a client, right? That person doesn't want to be closed to be your client. They want to be your friend and they want to build a relationship with you. So then maybe it's that client or friend that you've made. Maybe it's their aunt, cousin, mother, friend, someone that they run into on a daily basis, right? You're trying to have them become your salesperson to bring you more clients. Don't try to close everybody, and don't run your business where you're sitting there waiting for leads, right? I paid $500, $1,000 this month. Where are my leads, right? Like, stop it. Go out and actually like interact, right? Get into the community, have fun with people, show them who you are, bring your energy to the table, and then people are going to want to be around you in your community.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so important.
And when people come to your parties and your events and you get your members inviting friends, it's not a conversation of why you should come here. And shouldn't come afterward and be like, oh, it didn't work. I didn't close anybody. It's more of, you don't get married to someone the first time you meet them. We're building trust over. That's true. Some people do. But for us, we want to get to know these people a little bit, and we want them to get to know us, and we want them to be excited about us, and we want them to come to us. And maybe eventually they do opt in for our newsletter and start getting our content and everything, and then they start getting more exposed to it. And then finally they come in and they're excited about it. And it's a long-term exercise, and there's no way to predict when they're going to come in, but you can establish commonalities around it. Like, okay, they started coming in 3 months later, they were in our newsletter. 3 months later, they were really talking about it. And then 9 months later, they start opting in. So then I have a system established and I pay attention to the numbers. Then I know what's going on, but don't expect the sell to happen right there. And don't get upset when you don't collect their email address at a party or an event you invite them to. Just let them have a good time, let them experience your community, and let them have fun with you. And that's what really matters. They don't even need to go near a class. All they need to do is be exposed to the people.
That's it. And your job is to expose thousands of people to what you do, right? And that you actually care about them. Like that's the job, right? That's when you're doing your marketing, that's what you're trying to do. And then the leads come. Like, if I have something going on, if I'm doing a really good job building relationships and talking to people, and like there's people listening to this podcast, right? So we're doing this because we actually want to help. So we're just talking. Any ideas that can spark anything in you that improves your business. That's what this is all about. If you want stuff, we go above and beyond, right? So we'd love to work with you too. But if you don't, that's okay. we're going to continue to do this and help. So just think of that in your own business. You're just trying to help people create a reason to have them actually want to do business with you or be a part of you, like be around, interact, tell other people about you. Like you have to give them that reason. And if you don't give them the reason, you can't pay for leads, right? And so that's everybody's paying for leads. I want leads. And I've seen in the businesses that used to do a great job with relationships and getting leads, revenue, they've made this big shift in now it's the leads are drying up. Where are the leads? It's like, well, you've stopped all the behaviors you used to do before. That's where the leads are.
Yeah, just get people paying attention to what you're doing in your community and build a brand that people can trust and a brand people get excited about, and then you win. And that's what it comes down to.
The win.
So that's 25 minutes. We're way past what we normally do because we just keep talking about stuff forever.
That's right.
So I hope you guys enjoyed.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have questions, as always, post them in the comments or shoot us an email, hello@ootcmedia.com. Let us know what you think about the podcast. We always want to hear your thoughts and viewpoints and questions so we can talk about them on here. And if we've really helped you and really like what you do, go on iTunes and leave us a review. We talked about this earlier.
I'm going to go leave us a review right now.
Leave us a review, Dave. Also, I'd like to know if you're opted in on our newsletter, did you click the button? Email me back or post it in the comments.
Click that button.
Do not click the button, and I know you all did. All right. This has been fun. See ya.